We shield up the outrage. We are going to have to commit to the Dragon Tail farm down. The opponent will make one more move. This is just going to be an Aqua Tail, but if you safe switch Togekiss with a Waterfall Gary, we already know there's a Charmer in the back, and we will need all the HP we can get. We are going to fire the first Aqua Tail. Second Aqua Tail coming through. This should get Sylveon into a range where we are going to switch out into Shadow Machamp to finish the job. We come in with Machamp, we outpace to the cross chop, and guess what, Sylveon, you absolute shithead, you're about to get taken out by a fighter. So, let's get into today's video. Yesterday was the return of the Master League Premier Classic, and I decided to reuse my team that I made legend with last season. And somehow, I went on a 14-game win streak in my first 14 battles. I'm going to be honest, I was a bit rusty, didn't play the best, and that is a testament to this team. We got Dragon Tail, Gary on the lead, we got a safe switch of Best Buddy Shadow Snorlax, and the legendary Stone Edge Shadow Machamp in the back. In game 1, we pick up a lead against Garchomp. They safe switch into Mamoswine, and guess what? That is not a very safe switch. We come in with Shadow Machamp. We are going to shield once and commit all the way to the counter farm down, and now Shadow Machamp is absolutely loaded. The opponent is waiting out the timer. Back out comes Garchomp. I throw one counter, then fire the cross chop, and then once again we are going to fire one counter and another cross chop. This only allows one free turn to the Garchomp, and Shadow Machamp is going on an absolute tear up. The Garchomp is looking to farm all the way down, but guess what, motherfucker? Eat cross chop number 3. Garchomp doesn't shield. Now we've got 3 versus 1, and in the back is a Metagross, and we are going to say, hi Metagross, meet Best Buddy Shadow Snorlax, and this game is absolutely over. We aren't going to shield up the Meteor Mash. Snorlax tanks that like an absolute champ. The opponent still has 2 shields, and we are going all the way for the fast move finish, and that opponent saves 2 shields for Season 12. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, it's like deja vu. We pick up another lead against Garchomp. This opponent is staying in. We fire off the Aqua Tail, and the opponent sneaks. You hate to see it, but Aqua Tail is going to get this fairly low. We sneak a Dragon Tail. The opponent is going to have to outrage to take us out, but they are one short. It is just an Earth Power, and we now simultaneously KO. I was hoping with the sneak we would leave with a move banked, but we're still in a pretty alright spot. We come in to Snorlax, and they come into a Mud Slap Excadrill. I'm not entirely sure that is the fast move you are looking for. It does generate energy fairly slowly. We tank the Drill Run, and we are going straight for the Body Slam bait, as Excadrills absolutely love to shield. They shield up, we switch out into Shadow Machamp, and in the back is Metagross. This game is absolutely over. Shadow Machamp, unlike the regular Machamp, does actually win the one shield. So this game is over. The opponent is staying in. They're going to quickly realise there's nothing they can do. They are going to throw the Meteor Mash. We are obviously going to shield up. We will commit now all the way to the counter farm down, and we'll have back-to-back cross chops ready to dump at the Excadrill, and the opponent finally concedes the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, we see a Hydreigon in the lead. You love to see the spice. I've never seen one of these in my life, but I can see these Dragon Tails are absolutely chunky. We get a sneak, so I'm going to shield this up and look to commit all the way to the Dragon Tail farm down. We are super low on HP, but we've got absolutely a bucket load of energy. They come in to a Metagross. We are going first for the Aqua Tail. The opponent shields it up. We can now go for one extra Dragon Tail. I'm going to fire the Crunch and then look to make a swap into my Snorlax. Crunch lands for big damage. They get the defense drop as well. The opponent is sitting in a really rough spot. I am going to commit my final shield here. In case they've got a Charmer, we will need Snorlax to deal with that, as Machamp is pretty fucking dreadful. Against Charm, they come in to a Gyarados. We get a bit of lag. The opponent sneaks a Waterfall, but we're sitting in a great spot. The Gyarados will have to commit its final shield on this next Body Slam, and they are going to have to go for an Outrage to take us out, but that move is super fucking expensive. This can only be a Crunch or an Aqua Tail. We do survive. The opponent is going to have to dump yet more energy. However, they are looking to Waterfall us down. Snorlax, the big thick boy, makes one more Body Slam. We are now going to switch back in to Machamp, and that game is over. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, we see Haxorus in the lead. Beautiful lead for Gary. Once again, the Haxorus is staying in, so I've already got a good idea that they are going to be double weak to counter in the back. This is a lineup that Jonkus used, so when they switch out, there's the Snorlax. I come into Shadow Machamp. I am going to commit one shield here and look to counter all the way down after throwing one cross chop. We shield up the body slam. I am going to fire this cross chop. I am going to go for a cheeky undercharge, hoping to maximize the amount of energy that I leave with, because I know Shadow Machamp absolutely dominates this team. We look to go for the counter down. The opponent survives on 1 HP and a dream. I am going to burn my final shield. You might think we are in a tricky spot as we're down 2 shields, but this team has absolutely no response to Shadow Machamp. Back out comes Haxorus. They're forced to shield it up, and they are going to have to dump all of their energy to take us out. The switch timer will not have elapsed yet, so I am going to come in, snipe with Gyarados. I am a bit slow, I've got no idea what I'm waiting for, but we do snipe the Haxorus eventually. What is in the back? There's the Excadrill. We are going to fire off this Aqua Tail, look to burn the opponent's final shield. They don't even shield. We now switch out into Snorlax, and we can just lick all the way down. The opponent is going to throw a Drill Run, but you're going to need 2 good buddies, so I think you should reach for that top left. The opponent is staying in, and Snorlax gets the lick down, and we win that battle. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, we see a pretty rough lead. Dragon Tail Gary into Excadrill. We switch out into our soft counter of Snorlax. The licks do really add up, and Superpower absolutely one-shots from the big thick boy. The opponent is over farming, and I am going to go straight for the Superpower, hoping the opponent thinks I don't want to lower my defense as I've used it as a switch. The opponent burns their first shield. They now make a great catch, catching the second Superpower onto a Garchomp. The opponent is actually on Mud Shot, so even with a double lowered defense, they're going to have a really rough time in farming us down. We go for this Body Slam for a nice bit of chip damage. And now, as my switch timer has popped back up, I come back in to Gyarados. I am going to have to shield up a potential Outrage, as that would near one shot. We are now going to look to Dragon Tail all the way down. The opponent is one short of the next Outrage. This can only be a Sand Tomb or an Earth Power. We tank that, and then you're going to see me make an absolute noob play. The opponent left with 7 Mud Shots, so I should be spamming out this Aqua Tail. I've got no idea what I'm doing here. I throw 2 Dragon Tails. We've just sacrificed Gary to the Pokegods. Hashtag I love to try and throw 5-0 sets. We now come in to Shadow Machamp, and luckily for us, there's a Beware in the back. But then rather than getting tilted, I look to catch the move on Snorlax. And we now once again have a win con. We're going to come in with Machamp, look to counter all the way down. The opponent doesn't make the Superpower or Payback, whatever their second move is, but it's irrelevant. So despite me being an absolute noob in the mid game, first cross chop will draw the shield, second cross chop will KO. As I said in the intro, I don't know what I'm doing in these battles, to be brutally honest. I'm a bit rusty. But we go 5-0 in the first set, heading on into set number 2. We see the Gary mirror. The opponent is on Waterfall, so it's a great lead for Gyarados. The opponent builds up a boatload of energy and now switch out into Togekiss. I am going to chip it with an Aqua Tail because I really need to maintain alignment. We now come in to Shadow Snorlax and look to try and get rid of this Togekiss as quickly as possible. I am really mindful that they are going to have a second Charmer in the back. The opponent throws on 8. We tank the Ancient Power. This Body Slam would KO, but I am going to look to go for an undercharge and look to try and get a Body Slam off against the Gyarados. We do lick down. We've got the Body Slam loaded. I throw 2 licks and the Body Slam. This should be pressuring a shield from the opponent. We do grab a shield, and now the Gyarados is trying to go all the way for the lick farm down, and Snorlax, the absolute monster, makes another Body Slam. The opponent does double shield, and at this stage now, knowing they're going to have Charmer number 2 in the back, I am going to double shield my Gary in return. We come in, sneak the Dragon Tail. They throw the Outrage. I'm hoping that I can Dragon Tail down before they make a second move. This is just going to be an Aqua Tail, but we're going to need all the HP that we've got left, as both these Pokemon are pretty dreadful against Charm. They now switch out into Sylveon. I'm going to get both these Aqua Tails off. First Aqua Tail does some nice chip damage. Second Aqua Tail will also do enough chip damage, hopefully, to put it into Cross Chop range. I'm going to switch out into Shadow Machamp. Will outpace to the Cross Chop, and from this range, Cross Chop should be more than enough to KO the Charmer. You absolutely love to see it. Shadow Machamp is a Charm counter confirmed. Back out comes the Gyarados, and 1 counter is enough to take that game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, we see another Haxorus in the lead. They switch out into Excadrill. We come into Shadow Machamp. We don't get a counter through, which is absolutely brutal. That is going to mean I'm going to have to double shield this Shadow Machamp or throw energy. And to be honest, I've got no intentions of throwing energy. I'm just going to counter all the way down, leave with a boatload of energy and a super healthy Shadow Machamp. So regardless of what comes in, they're not going to appreciate the charge moves from Shadow Machamp. They come in to Metagross, and Shadow Machamp is going to be spamming out Cross Chops. First Cross Chop draws the first shield. We throw another counter, eat Cross Chop number 2 Metagross. The opponent lets it go. We are going to get to cross chop number 3 before they make the Meteor Mash. This should be pressuring the final shield from Metagross, which it does. The opponent is going to have to throw. They're looking to bullet punch down, but Shadow Machamp says absolutely no chance. Look how fucking hench I am. There's no chance of that happening. Back out comes Haxor as we switch back out into the Gyarados. We're going to get off this Crunch, and Crunch is going to be enough to take this battle. Snorlax, the big fat boy, gets a nice rest on the bench. Moving on into the next one. We see a Milotic in the lead. They're on Dragon Tail, so it's a battle of two strange looking snakes pretending to be dragons in the lead. The opponent is farming up a boatload of energy. They are going to have to go for a Hyper Beam or a Blizzard to take us out. We draw a shield on the Crunch. The opponent hasn't got enough energy for a Blizzard. This is just a Surf. You should have thrown one more Waterfall. They do not, so we are going to get off Crunch. Number 2, Crunch should land for big damage, which it does. The opponent once again is going to throw a Surf, and at this stage I'm just going to allow Gyarados to go down, and this is a great chance for Shadow Machamp to come in and get ahead on energy, and the opponent thinks fuck that and quit the match. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle. We see the Gary Mirror in the lead. Let's see what fast moves are on. They're on Dragon Breath, so once again it's two strange looking snake things pretending to be dragons, but we're actually both water and flying. The opponent gets off the Crunch. They get the defense drop. You hate to see it. I throw one more Dragon Tail, and I am going to throw a Crunch of my own. The opponent shields it up, so I switch out now into Snorlax, and the opponent is staying in. I'm not going to throw a Body Slam just yet. I'm going to let the opponent throw first. I'm going to over farm, so I'm ahead in energy for whatever comes in. You will notice the opponent's 2 for 2 on defense drops in this battle. You hate to see it. Body Slam takes them out. They come in to Metagross, so I am going to fire off a superpower. This superpower will do decent damage to the Metagross, and now it is time for Shadow Machamp. I allow myself to get farmed down as I want to be able to use Gyarados as a potential third shield. We come in to Machamp. We are going to have to shield up the Meteor Mash, and I am going to look to catch the second Meteor Mash onto Gyarados. The opponent actually makes a catch. It's on another steel type, so this is going to be extra drill. Go for an undercharge. The undercharge is a bit optimistic. The opponent looks like they will make a move. I come in, look to catch it on Gyarados, but we actually just take him out with a Dragon Tail. Gyarados makes the Crunch, and either way this battle is absolutely over. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle. We need Shadow Gyarados into Dragonite. It's actually a Shadow Dragonite, so have we got our first battle of the triple shadows in this video. The opponent is going to fire a Dragon Claw from a Shadow. It would near KO, so I'm going to shield it up. I'm going to over farm just a touch until they're in Aqua Tail range. I'm going to fire off this Aqua Tail. The opponent is going to be forced to shield, or this will knock out. The opponent lets it go, and they come into Metagross. This is a bit of a puzzle in play from me, as Metagross isn't the best answer for Gyarados. We go straight for the Crunch. The opponent shields it up, and as they are a Shadow, these licks from Shadow Snorlax are really going to start adding up. The opponent's got Excadrill in the back. I'm going to allow this move to go through, and then I'm going to go straight for the superpower, knowing the opponent is highly unlikely to shield. Superpower coming through, get fucking wrecked Excadrill, and now Snorlax is going to be putting pressure on this Metagross. The licks are still really adding up. I'm going to go for a Body Slam, expecting to draw a shield. The opponent lets it go, but it just does too much damage. We make one more Body Slam, and the opponent is absolutely fucked. GG's and thanks for playing. So as you can tell by my very horrible accent, I am from the UK. These battles were played at around 9 PM as soon as the leagues dropped. I done 2 sets and thought, after getting up at 4 o'clock for work, I'm not playing particularly well. I'm just going to call it a day there, as 10-0 is pretty good, so you can see from the journal. We did go a perfect 10-0. You love to see it. However, I woke up the next day and thought, fuck it, let's see if we can get this win streak going a bit longer. So without any further ado, let's jump into set number 3. And we'll lead Shadow Gyarados into Togekiss. Absolutely dreadful. We've only got one real response for Togekiss, which is Snorlax. We look to try and deny a charm, and a charm comes through. You hate to see it. 2 Aqua Tails does not KO, and this Togekiss is going to farm us all the way down. Second Aqua Tail does get him into the red, but they do charm us down. The opponent is at the Flamethrower. Flamethrower with non-stab doesn't threaten too much, and we will be able to manage to lick all the way down unless the opponent switches out. Snorlax does get the lick down. They come in to Machamp. We come into a Machamp of our own, and in the back is an Excadrill. From a rough spot, we are sitting pretty sweet. We sneak the counter. We can now counter all the way down, and Machamp is absolutely loaded. We are going to start unleashing cross chops on the opposing Machamp. They are obviously going to have to burn shields here. First shield comes through. We get one more counter off, throw another cross chop. This should be drawing the second shield from the opponent. The opponent does throw, but you can see we are ahead in energy, so I am going to shield this up. Look to get the next cross chop off. I overfarm just a touch. We don't get the denial in. That is a bit brutal. And then just for no reason whatsoever, I am counting and look to catch the cross chop onto Snorlax. You love to see it. This cross chop will not KO. Can Snorlax lick down? We cannot, but one counter is going to be enough to take this game. GG's and thanks for playing. When you see a Togekiss in the lead running this team, when you get a chance to flex on the opponent, as cheeky as it is, you've got to do it. Moving on into the next battle, we see Gyarados into Snorlax. Pretty neutral matchup, slightly negative for Gyarados as Snorlax is super bulky. We both simultaneously swap. I switch out looking to catch the body slam onto Snorlax. The opponent looks to catch the potential Aqua Tail onto Gyarados. And now in a strange turn of events, we've now got a mirror of the opening matchup. However, we're both using the opposing Pokemon. I don't commit my shield. I am going straight for this body slam. Really hoping the opponent shields it up. They do not. So we do win switch. Let's see what the opponent has in the back. The opponent is waiting out their timer. They come in to Dragonite. We get farmed all the way down. However, we've now got the absolute perfect alignment. We come back in to Gyarados. We are going to shield this up as Dragon Claw would be quite brutal. Now Machamp doesn't want to see this. Dragonite, the opponent switches back out into Snorlax. We will survive this move, but I am going to shield it up. Look to come in with Machamp, banking all that energy. I am obviously not going to shield this up because I have no shields. The opponent should go for a super power. They just go for a body slam. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible just before they get to the next body slam. I am going to fire off this cross chop. You can see I've hit no bubbles, allowing myself to get an extra counter. Now we will reach the Stone Edge against the Dragonite. Does the opponent respect the big Stone Edge? They should shield. They've got two anyway. We draw a shield. We've got minimal farm on our Machamp, and now it is going to be a bait game. I go for the Aqua Tail. Does the opponent call the bait? They do not. One more Dragon Tail, and this crunch is going to be enough to take this battle. GG's and thanks for playing. Shout out to my opponent. I think he actually played really well. Made a few great switches there, but we still managed to take that game. Moving on into the next one, we see another Gary mirror. Once again, we are both pretending to be dragons. I am going to allow the opponent to throw first, hoping to sneak, because I've got a 13 attack. I always lose CMP. They go for the crunch. We are now going to fire a crunch of our own. We know shield is the opponent. Going to shield it up. They do not. We now look to snipe with Snorlax. The opponent doesn't react quick enough. We do manage to snipe it down. So we've still got 3 Pokemon alive. And we've got Snorlax ahead in energy. They come into Excadrill. Holy crap. This isn't a matchup that Excadrill is going to enjoy. Behind on energy, we tank the drill run. We are going to go for the body slam bait. They've got 2 shields. Excadrill's always shield. We are now going to go straight for the superpower. Is the opponent willing to burn their second shield? They are not. Snorlax going absolutely off, and in the back is a Metagross. So I'm just going to go for this body slam because I don't want to lower my defense. I just want to get as much lick damage off as possible. Our switch timer does pop up. It's now time for Shadow Machamp. We can now shield this up, and this game is absolutely over. We've still got a shield remaining, so we just need to get to the back-to-back cross chop. The opponent wins CMP. We're going to shield up this Meteor Mash. First cross chop will either draw the shield, but the opponent are probably going to let it go as this game, like I said, is over. The opponent smartly no shields, and we take that battle. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next one. We see another Gary mirror. Let's see if this one is pretending to be a dragon. Once again, it is 2 big snakes pretending to be dragons. You've seen this matchup play out numerous times in the video. And like I said, my 13 attack, I always lose CMP. The opponent goes for the crunch. We fire off a crunch in return. Does the opponent want to shield it up? They do not. We now once again look to snipe with Snorlax. The opponent this time does switch out quick enough, and they come into Metagross. This is why I love Snorlax so much in the Master League Premier Classic, as these licks do absolutely brutalise the bulky Metagross. The opponent coming into Metagross must mean they've got Excadrill once again in the back. I go for a body slam. The opponent calls the bait. However, I'm just going to outpace to the next body slams. The opponent is going to be forced to shield. Either way, they finally shield it up. I get to a 3rd body slam on a CMP tie. I'm just going to let Snorlax go down as this is free farm for Shadow Machamp. The opponent immediately switches out into Excadrill, transferring the counter. We sneak a counter as well, and this game is absolutely over. We are going to counter all the way down, and we're just going to counter down absolutely everything. The opponent still hasn't quit. Whatever they come in with is just going to get countered down. It is pretty irrelevant. I don't know what they come in with there, but they finally quit the match, and we're off to a 14-0 start. And you will notice I don't actually cut this queue time out. So you can see there, we are 14-0, and I click Master League. Like I said, I love throwing 5-0 sets. And in the Open Master League, we see one of the worst possible leads. Melmetal, we switch out into Snorlax. They meet us with Dialga. This isn't as terrible as you would think, as Best Buddy Snorlax, with a 13 defense, actually reaches the Dragon Breath bulk point. Actually, regular Snorlax reaches the bulk point, hence I set mine as Best Buddy for this matchup. We are going to shield this up. I'm going to fire off this Body Slam, as they are quite close to the second Iron Head. We take out the Dialga. I really need to flip switch advantage. In the back is a Dragonite, so we do have half a chance of pulling this off. We get off the Body Slam. Body Slam lands for a nice bit of chip damage. We are going to come in with the Gyarados. I'm imagining the opponent is going to switch out immediately, and we've got Shadow Machamp. We need to counter all the way down. I am going to obviously let this move go through and imagine the opponent will switch. So I see the switch, I switch out into Machamp. Melmetal is super bulky. You can see it's no Excadrill. These counters really aren't doing that much. I am going to call a Rockside bait. The opponent goes straight for a superpower. They're at the back-to-back. I am going to be forced to shield this up. The opponent goes for a superpower. Once again, can we counter down? No, we cannot. I try and throw one before they get to the superpower, but the opponent wins. I've now got a Dragon Tail all the way down, but the opponent has 2 shields, and we managed to balls up a potential 15-0 run. You hate to see it, but it is what it is. You can't really complain. 14-game win streak is pretty impressive. So we lose this battle, and because I did lose this battle in the Open Master League, as you can see from my journal, I thought, fuck it. Let's see if we can keep the streak going in the Master League Premier. So we see Dragonite in the lead. So far, so good. We go for the extra. We do not get it. Dragonite is going to throw a move. I'm going to let it go through, as I think this is going to be triple flyers. I go straight for the crunch. Let's see if the opponent does shield it up. If they shield, I'm going to switch out into Snorlax, hoping to draw out the Togekiss, but the opponent stays in. That's pretty brutal. I'm not going to shield up a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw lands. Can I lick all the way down? Probably not, because this Dragonite is too alpha. I fire off a Body Slam. Is it triple flyers? Yes, it is. It's Togekiss. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to fire off this Body Slam and think this game is absolutely over. So I just top left, and that is all she wrote. So we did manage to go on a 14-game win streak in the Master League Premier Classic. Game 15, I went into the Open Master League like a noob. And game 16, I just quit, as that game wasn't winnable. So overall, this team is super strong. Did get me 2 legend last season, and this season it's still pretty strong. I don't think this is some of the best gameplay you've seen on the channel, and that's probably a testament to how strong this team is. So if you're looking for a really strong line of 3, I couldn't recommend this highly enough. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you've got some triple shadow battles you'd like featured on the channel, a link to that is in the description down below. I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.